Hi, I'm Weiser Cornell, and this is Support for Stressful Times. And I welcome you. Let's spend a half hour being in supportive ways. What's one way we can be supportive to ourselves? We can do something that I call resourcing. And resourcing means that right now, here and now, wherever you are, you can pause and sense what feels good to you right now. Even if you're feeling a lot of other things, anxiety, sadness, exhaustion, we include those. We're not trying to push them away, but there's a way that we can also pause and sense what feels good. My favorite way to do that is to just feel my body in contact with what I'm sitting on. Or you might be standing or lying down, but take a moment right now with me and feel your body in contact with what you're sitting on. And does that feel good? Let's take a little more time. As I begin to feel my body in contact with what I'm sitting on, I also begin to feel my breathing. And my breathing feels good. Now, that might not be true of you. So what are you noticing? Ayesha writes, warmth in my hands feels good. If you got something that brings warmth in your hands, Christina writes, it helps me to use a statement I learned from you, Anne. This much I know. Ah, there you go. This much I know. Right now the birds are singing and the trees are beautiful and I feel healthy. Yeah. This is a kind of a gratitude practice, isn't it? What is good right now? And the trick is to do that without pushing away or denying the things that are hard or challenging or stressful. So it means expanding to be bigger than just, I feel scared, I feel bad, I feel stressed. Well, how do we do that? Well, one way to do that, expanding bigger than I feel stressed, is the language of presence. I'm sensing something in me is feeling stressed. And then noticing when you do that, you can feel that you are more than feelings like stressed or tense or anxious. Pausing to feel what feels good, even a little bit. And also to include what doesn't feel so good right now. Haja writes, my hand in contact with my little dog who's hopped on the sofa to join us. Ah, yeah. Maria writes, good that I'm alive. Ayesha writes, thank you for helping me be in the moment. Yeah, this moment, this lovely moment right now, including that some things are hard. Now, David wrote in the chat earlier, what about the awareness that we're giving to how we feel? Does awareness stretch to include what feels good as well as what feels bad? Yes, definitely. This is the awareness that I sometimes call self in presence. So when I say I am sensing, really aware that the I am sensing is bigger than anything particular that is being sensed. I am sensing something in me feeling sad, I'm sensing something in me feeling nervous. And do I sense something in me feeling relaxed and peaceful? Well, I don't know about you, but I'd prefer to say, I feel relaxed and peaceful. Because relaxed and peaceful are qualities that I want to own, that I want to identify with, that I want to be, and I want to be from there. And I notice that when I gather the qualities that help me feel calm, present, and open, then I'm more available to turn toward a part of me that feels stressed and a part of me that feels exhausted. So, what we're doing now, sensing for what feels good, is a way of cultivating our ability to be present to the aspects or feelings in ourselves that feel hard. Well, this can be a tricky concept. Some people say, aren't you making your enjoyable feelings somehow on a different plane than your challenging feelings? Yes, I am. And I feel like that's what my body teaches me. When I pause and feel what feels good, and I feel what feels good with an openness to whatever I feel. I'm not pushing anything away. I'm not in denial. I'm not skipping my process, but I'm simply pausing to sense what feels good. There's an expansion, and that expansion allows me to be more fully present with everything. Susie writes in the chat, over the weekend, I was able to remember to say to myself, a part of me was angry, a part of me that was scared, and then a deep peace arrived. Wow, very nice. See, when we say hello to something that's angry and something that's scared, we're not pushing those feelings away. I really would not want to push any of my feelings away. Maybe part of me wants to push them away, but I want to have my feelings because I know that my feelings, my emotional life is what one of the things that connects me to myself and to others. Emotions are a key aspect of being alive. They tell us how we react, and they are our reactions and connections to others. We, of course, will choose how we express them to other people. And what's really important about emotions is that there's more to them. Anger isn't just anger. Something in me that feels angry, there's more to it than that. I start with noticing that something feels angry. Then I sense further. I know there's something more. What is it about that that feels this way to me? So I can have a deeper conversation with an emotion, a part of me that feels an emotion. And I couldn't have that deeper conversation if I'm just in a struggle not to feel those things. I think a lot of the ways that we've been taught to deal with emotions treats emotions sort of like they would never change. You either allow your anger or you count to 10 and don't let your anger come up. It treats them like they wouldn't change if you spend time with them. But what we know from this process is everything is on its way to change. So Connie writes, I don't know what to do with my anger. When I get angry, I feel like yelling and I can't control it. Okay, let's try something else, Connie. Sitting here, taking some time to arrive and breathe, saying the words, something in me is angry, and something in me is worried about the angry feeling. I am sensing something in me gets angry and something in me worries about controlling that. And then notice how it feels to be the one who is acknowledging that both are there. That's the shift. From this place, I am not a controller, I'm a space. And I don't have to fight what I feel. I also don't have to express it in any particular way. Instead, I say to the part of me that's angry, I hear you. Do you want to tell me more? Stefania writes, how to discern anger from indignation? Well, we have more feelings than we have words for in any language. So when you feel something in your body that you wonder, is it anger or is it indignation? First thing to do is say, I feel something. And let the feel of it be there, even without words. And then you can offer it words and sense if they fit. But it might be that no particular word or label precisely fits. You might have to combine several words. Well, it's not exactly anger, it's anger-ish. It's like a quiet anger-like fury, right? In other words, what you call it is not as important as the process of sensing how is it right now. And when I say it changes, that's what I mean. As you sense how it is right now, that that's an evolutionary process for the feeling itself. Oh, it's different now. It's not that way. It's starting to feel this way. That's being present to ourselves is not a labeling process, it's a sensing process. Well, I wanted to make sure that I talk a little bit more about resourcing. I talked about feeling how it is now. And some of you were sharing about the birds singing and so on, how it is now in the present moment. You can also do resourcing by remembering enjoyable experiences you've had recently, or maybe even all the way back in the past. A friend of mine likes to remember stepping into a lake in Canada in the summertime when she was 6 years old and feeling the water come up to her knees. It's such a vivid memory for her. And when she needs some extra resourcing, she pauses and remembers that memory. Well, let's pause together right now and invite you to remember something you did recently that was that was enjoyable and brought you a level of relaxation, pleasure, and what I always like to think about first is experiences outdoors, out in nature, in the world of nature, with trees, flowers, lakes, rivers, oceans, taking walks, being there. In the northern hemisphere, it's springtime, nearly summer. And so, and we get to do more than we could a year ago. So, what's a recent time that you enjoyed yourself out in nature? And notice that you can pause right now and get some of the resource from that recent experience in your body. And yes, it could be experiences with that include children that you love or animals that you love. What are some recent experiences that brought you relaxation, enjoyment, and joy, and that you can recall in a bodily way, an embodied way right now? Nice. Very nice. This is something you get to deliberately, consciously do when times are stressful, when things are hard. I need some resourcing right now. Yay. Thank you so much. Maria, yard sailing. You mean going around to people's yard sales? I'm a big fan of shopping myself. And that's outdoors, isn't it? Oh, and Christy's talking about listening to good music and dancing. Wow, so nice. I often I often give some money to people who are playing music outdoors for passersby. That's so nice. Thank you so much for writing some of your examples in the chat. So we're here and now. And the process of coming into this moment, into this body. Now, what I love is that if you want to be in the present moment, your body is available to help you do that. Feeling, feeling your feet, feeling your seat, feeling your fingertips. So we're doing two things. We're remembering something enjoyable that happened sometime in the past. But then a key part of that is that we're sensing now how it feels to remember that. And that doesn't mean we're reproducing or duplicating those same feelings we had back then. No, what we're doing is by remembering that resourcing experience, we're having the feelings that come now. Having the feelings that come now. Wendy, cuddling your new grandchild. Oh, congratulations. How nice. How wonderful. Michelle, leaning against a young redwood tree and feeling it sway. Ooh. Wow, I could get resourced by your experiences. But it's what we feel right now. Like this might be not quite the same feeling as you felt when you were actually doing it. I had something happened that I caused to happen that both brought me stress and a sense of satisfaction and new possibility. I'm planning on building a new house, a house that people could actually live in on my property. I have a sense that there'll be many uses for such a thing, and I don't have an office anymore. So in order to do that, the older structure on my property got demolished last Friday. And when I saw the space, the empty space where there was a structure that had brought us comfort and pleasure, it was a storage unit that we'd had for 17 years. There were feelings of anxiety and fear. It's such a big change and how irrevocable it is. And I spent time with those. Didn't try to make them go away. Listened to what it was that felt scary about seeing that empty space where there'd been a structure that we could use before that. And the next day, I woke up and looked out the window and I had a different feeling. Now the space seemed full of possibility, full of potential. Emotions change, and they change more easily when we allow them to be how they are. So can I allow this feeling that's here now to be the way it is? Another thing that happened to me recently, after a normal day, doing the same things I did on every other day, I felt completely exhausted. And I could tell there was a part of me trying to argue, you can't be exhausted, or what's wrong? Am I sick? But the body feeling was of exhausted. And so after saying hello to You can't be exhausted, and am I sick? I was able to come into my body and just acknowledge and feel the feeling that I had been naming with the word exhausted, sensing if that word fit well, letting a new word come, weary, weary. And then the words came, it's a lot. I didn't quite know what that meant. What's a lot? But it doesn't matter, really. And I went to bed early. I could sense that that's what it was asking for. What would it be like to live our lives more and more from this place of sensing in this present moment? How is it now? So today we've been talking about a couple of things. We still have 8 minutes, so I'm not ending yet, but I'm just sensing our way forward. We're talking about resourcing. Resourcing, pausing to sense what feels good. And by good, we don't mean good versus bad, positive versus negative. We're talking about what your body itself finds enlivening or comforting, or, right? It's not something we have to think from up here. Oh, this is a good thing. The body reaction is what tells us. And it's different from day to day, right? One day it's dancing. Another day it's taking a nap. So what is the resourcing activity that feels right now? Next, we can remember things we did and call on them now as a fresh feeling that comes as I remember that enjoyable thing that felt so good. It was like you have a whole bank of enjoyable feelings that can help you now. Not in order to push away present feelings, but so that you are more available to be with the more challenging things you feel right now. Sean is asking, how do you cope with fear? Okay, so that's the next step. Let's say I'm feeling fear. Well, the first thing I want to do is use the language of presence, which is I am sensing something in me feels fear. And I am concerned about the word fear because it's a noun, and nouns have a monolithic, unchanging quality. Notice what would happen if instead of calling it fear, I say afraid, scared, fearful. Something in me is feeling scared. I'm sensing something in me is feeling scared. I'll check if that word fits. If it's not scared, maybe it's panicked. Maybe it's terrified. Yeah, I'll find the word that fits better. Now I'm starting to feel it in my body. I'm sensing this place in my stomach is feeling panicked. I am saying to it, hello, I know you're there and I'm here with you. Now I'll listen. Do you want to let me know what's getting you so panicked? It's the empty space in the yard, right? So we have a conversation with those parts of us that have more challenging feelings. And the most important thing going on here is that there's relationship. I am here with it. So we build up our ability to be the I who can be with the feelings that we're having, the something that's afraid, the something that's sad, the something that's having a hard time these days, the something that's nervous about taking off the mask and going out or whatever. How do you make a line between resourcing and avoidance? Well, if I am resourcing and not avoiding, then I can feel what feels good. And my door is open to anything in me that doesn't feel good. It's like I feel so good that I welcome contact with parts of me that don't feel good. It's I'm enjoying myself, and anything in me that isn't enjoying is also welcome. So the word welcome is the key between resourcing and avoidance. So Sandy writes, living life from sensing without having to have an explanation for everything feels so liberating. Yay! Wouldn't that be great? So Eve writes, how do you deal with feelings that are lurking under the surface, that can't be identified, that you know you're there? That's very important. And by the way, even the recognition that something's lurking under the surface is already a great start. Like I know from where I sit now, I recognize that for many years of my life, there were things going on for me that I wasn't aware of at all. And my journey, the journey of personal growth and greater awareness, has been to see if I can make a greater welcome to aspects of me that thought they had to hide or be hidden or be exiled. The first thing I would do, I would just put out the word. If any of my feelings that are under the surface want to come talk to me, I'm here. I welcome them. And then I make sure I'm setting aside some times when I am not doing anything else, either sitting quietly or maybe taking a walk without another person, just looking around, but also sensing and beginning to feel the approach of something inside that I can tell it's there. I just don't know what it is yet. And then calling on my resources of patience, because sometimes it takes a while to build a relationship of trust with something that we feel. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. It's been so lovely to be with you again. And for those of you who are here the first time, do come again. We do this every 2 weeks. And it's a wonderful way to connect with each other and remind ourselves of these powerful truths that being in the present moment and being able to be with how we feel is a forward living process. Thanks so much. See you later. Bye for now.